So today we're going to just review what we've done in the past week or so when we look at solving a system of two linear equations. We've learned 3 methods of solving, actually 4, so let's review those methods. And remember, a system of equations is 2 or more equations, and when I ask you to solve, I'm asking you to find the point of intersection. Or where do these two lines meet? And in this chapter, we're looking at linear equations. They're straight lines, and we're looking for where the two straight lines meet. So the first method we looked at, of course, was graphing. And we looked for where the lines cross. The second method we actually looked at was using the table feature on our graphing calculator. You can also make a table by hand as well, and looking for when the values were the same. We spent 2 days on a method called substitution. And we spent 2 days on a method called elimination. So these are the 4 methods you should be familiar with and comfortable with. The 3 that we've been using most often are graphing, substitution, and elimination. All right, so when do you use elimination? Use elimination when both variables are on the same side. And we'll look at examples of that. Use substitution when one variable is already by itself, or it's easier, or it's easy to get that variable by itself. So when one variable is already by itself, or is easy to get by itself. And you can use your graphing calculator when they're both in the y equals form. It might be some other variable as well, but if they're the same variable and they both equal the equation, you could type that into your y equals menu on your graphing calculator. Okay, so let's look at examples of what do I mean by both variables on the same side, or when one variable is already by itself. All right, so elimination or substitution, take a look at the first one. Are both variables on the same side? No, so elimination is probably not the best method. Is one variable already by itself? Yes, it is. The y is by itself, so here's substitution would be probably the quicker method. You can use either, but substitution would be quicker. If you chose to use elimination, you'd have one extra step. You'd have to get the variables on the same side. All right, let's go over here. This one, elimination would be the easiest method, or fastest, because if you use substitution, you'd have to get one variable by itself. You could pretty easily, though, get x by itself, so substitution wouldn't be too bad. It'd just be one extra step. This one right here, substitution would probably be a little bit quicker. Again, you can use either method, but here's substitution because the x is by itself. And for this last one, elimination, because x and y are on the same side. Again, substitution wouldn't be bad. You could add y on this one and subtract 19, but it's just a couple extra steps. So elimination when x and y, or your variables, are on the same side. Substitution when one letter is already by itself, or easy to get by itself. Let's practice writing 2 equations with 2 variables. So we had Nick. He had to go grocery shopping. He had to get enough fruit for 29 people. Apples cost $1.49 each, and oranges cost $1.29 each. He spent $40.61 total before tax. How many apples and oranges did he buy? Okay, so let's underline the important information here. He had to get enough fruit for 29 people. Apples cost $1.49. Oranges cost $1.29, and he spent $40.61. When you see a problem like this, your 2 equations should be divided up in this manner. 1, we're looking at number of things. 2, we're looking at cost. Okay, so just looking at number of things, we have apples plus oranges. I'll use R for oranges. And total there's 29. So this is just number of things. Apples plus oranges, 29. The cost, we're going to put all the costs in the same equation. So apples cost $1.49. So $1.49 per apple plus $1.29 for orange. Oops, I used R for orange. And that equals 4061. So when you have a word problem with numbers of things and then the cost of things, divide it up in two equations where one equation is just number of things and one equation is just cost of things. Okay? And then you could use elimination or substitution to solve for this. Your assignment is a review worksheet. It looks like this. Okay, so for the first part, you're going to graph the systems to find the solution. Remember, when you're graphing, you'll want to get y by itself, so you know the slope and the y-intercept. And then you'll graph and see where they cross. The second one, you're practicing substitution or elimination, second type of problem. Here's the type of problem where you're setting up the equations where you have number of things and cost of things. So you can try those and solve. And then you have some graphing calculator problems where you can solve for y and then plug into your graphing calculator and use your intersection feature to figure out the point of intersection. And then you have one word problem, read it through it, figure out what each of the numbers stand for, and then you can solve. So this will be due tomorrow.